I'm recording this on my 86th birthday. The doctor gave me the final prognosis yesterday. My heart is simply worn out. I've chosen to spend my last days here, alone in this quiet house, rather than reach out to my family. This isn't a cry for help. It is a conscious choice for peace. Let me tell you what happened. It started with my own childhood. I was born in 1938. My parents were kind but distant, survivors of the Depression. They believed love was shown through provision, not affection. Our house was quiet and orderly. Meals were on time. Clothes were mended, but hugs were rare. I learned self-reliance before I learned to ride a bike. That foundation made me crave a different kind of life, a loud and loving one. I thought I'd found it. I met Arthur in 1959 at the public library. He was all warmth and easy laughter. We built a dream together. We had 3 children, Michael, Susan, and David. For 2 decades, our house vibrated with life, scraped knees and bedtime stories. I believed we had broken the cycle. But the chaos didn't stop when they grew up. It just changed its shape. The children left. The house grew quiet again. But Arthur and I were content. Then he died suddenly 15 years ago. A massive heart attack. The silence he left behind was absolute. That's when the children's visits changed. Once weekly became monthly, then only on holidays. The calls grew shorter, just checking a box. I told myself they were busy, but then came my 80th birthday. They planned a big dinner. I wore Arthur's favorite tie. I arrived to find just Michael. He was looking at his phone. Susan was stuck at work. David's flight was delayed. We ate a tense, quiet meal at a table for 6. Michael left before dessert. He said, "Sorry, Mom, client call." I sat alone. The empty chairs screamed. It wasn't anger I felt. It was a profound, chilling clarity. After that, I started observing. I began a mental ledger. Christmas, when David went skiing instead. The 2 weeks Susan didn't answer my calls. The time I fell. I called Michael. He said he'd send someone. It was a grocery delivery boy. The gifts became generic. Scented candles, gift cards. Conversations were just about their lives. No questions for mine. The final proof came during the pandemic. I was terrified, isolated. I learned to video call. For a month, they checked in. Then their screens became busy. I'd see the tops of their heads. They multitasked. They never asked if I needed groceries. I hired a college student to shop. That stranger showed more concern in his eyes than I'd seen from my own children in years. That didn't break me. It freed me. I stopped expecting. I stopped calling. The silence was deafening. Weeks passed. I realized their contact was obligation, a chore. So I unburdened them. I wrote a brief email. I said, "I know you're busy. Don't worry about checking in." The replies were swift. "Thanks for understanding, Mom. You're the best." Their relief was palpable. It was the final confirmation. I got my affairs in order. I left everything to a charity for lonely seniors. I sorted photos. I kept only those of Arthur and the young kids. I found joy in quiet mornings, the birds at the feeder, a day without disappointment. Then the chest pains started. The doctor said congestive heart failure. Weeks, maybe months. He asked, "Who is your support system?" I smiled. I said, "Myself." He urged me to tell the family. I considered it. The dramatic calls, the rushed visits filled with guilt. I imagined my deathbed as a stage for their absolution. I chose not to give them that role. My ending will not be a plot point in their lives. So I came home. I set up this camera to tell my truth. Today has been a good day. I made tea. I watched the sunrise. There is no anger here now, just acceptance. I loved them fiercely. That love was real. Their inability to reciprocate it is their truth, not my failure. I die not as a bitter old woman, but as someone who chose authenticity. I die honoring the love I had for Arthur and the young children they once were, not mourning the strangers they became. And so, I have one final request. Not for them, but for you. If you take anything from my story, let it be this. Look at the people in your life. Not at their prescribed roles, mother, son, daughter, but at their actions. Care is not a birthday card. It is the daily, quiet choice to see someone. Do not confuse obligation for love. And if you find yourself on the receiving end of mere obligation, have the courage to walk away. Protect your peace. Your final solitude can be a garden, not a prison. Choose the truth, even if you choose it alone. The recording ends. The red light blinks off. The quiet house holds me, and it feels like a friend. The quiet house holds me, and it feels like a friend. But you see, that feeling took a long time to arrive. After I sent that email and got their relieved replies, I thought I was free. I was wrong. The next part was the hardest. I had to sit with what I'd actually done. I had released my own children. The silence in the house became a physical thing. I'd talk to Arthur's photograph just to hear a voice. One afternoon, I called Susan's number. I didn't mean to. My finger just pressed it. It went to voicemail. Her cheerful recording said, "Hi, you've reached Susan. Leave a message." I listened to it 3 times. Then I hung up. I didn't cry. I just felt hollow. That was my deepest admission. I missed the idea of them more than I missed the people they were. The cost was the story I'd told myself for 50 years, the story of us as a family. Letting that story die was like losing Arthur all over again. But in that emptiness, a small, quiet understanding began. I had not failed. I had simply loved in a place where love had stopped growing. But in that emptiness, a small, quiet understanding began. I had not failed. I had simply loved in a place where love had stopped growing. Here's what I learned, sitting in this kitchen for all those silent years. I was wrong about what family means. I thought it was a permanent contract, signed in blood and childhood memories that guaranteed care. It isn't. It's a living thing that needs to be fed by both sides every single day. And when one side stops feeding it, the contract isn't broken. It just ceases to exist. You're left holding a ghost. The mistake I made, long before Arthur died, was believing my love was enough to sustain all of us. I poured everything into them, and when it was my turn to need a refill, the well was dry. I should have spoken up sooner, not with guilt, but with clarity. I should have said, "This distance hurts me," instead of smiling and saying, "I understand you're busy." My politeness taught them it was okay. Don't make my mistake. Politeness in the face of neglect is just a slower form of self-erasure. So my advice, especially to those of you my age, is this. Take a clear-eyed look at your ledger. Not to stew in bitterness, but to see the truth. And then, act on it. If your people show up only on holidays, then give them only holiday expectations. Don't save your stories for the weekly call that never comes. Tell them to the neighbor, the cashier. Write them in a journal. Redirect your love to where it can land, even if that's a pet, a garden, a volunteer shift. And if you have children or family who are drifting, say the true thing while you still can. I miss you. This pattern makes me feel alone. If they hear you, you can rebuild. If they don't, you have your answer, and you can stop waiting. Stop performing the role of the understanding parent. It's exhausting, and it robs everyone of authenticity. Your peace is worth more than the appearance of a family. There is hope in this, I promise you. It's the hope of reality over fantasy. The day I accepted that my children were not my companions was the day I began to find real companionship in myself, in my memories of Arthur, in the quiet world around me. You still have time, maybe not years, but now is enough, to appreciate a perfect cup of tea, to sit in the sun, to be the kind, interesting person you are for your own sake. Your final chapters don't have to be about who isn't there. They can be about who you still are. I am an 86-year-old woman who loves birdsong and the smell of rain. That is enough. If this story resonated with you, if you felt that hollow space where family should be, then do something simple with that feeling. Don't let it sit in the dark. Press like on this video so I know my truth found its way to you. Subscribe to this channel. They tell me there are more stories here about quiet lives and hard choices, and maybe one will speak to you next. Turn on notifications so you don't miss them. But more importantly, share your own thought in the comments. Not for me, but for the others watching. Just a sentence, I understand, or my ledger looks similar. You have no idea who you're not alone. That connection, however brief, is real. And if you have a story of your own burning to be told, the link in the description is a place to submit it. Maybe it will be told here. Finally, a book that helped me find the words for this is The Art of Living Alone by Jane Matthews. It's not a bitter book. It's a practical one about building a life that fits, not the one you were promised. It's in the description too. But whether you click a link or not, just do this. Look up from this screen, look at your own life, and choose the truth of it with both hands, however it looks, however quiet it is. Choose it. The red light is off now. My tea is gone. The sun has moved across the floor. It is all exactly as it should be.